We are looking at basically what's going on today, and we are seeing that there is a moderate threat right in here. So we are seeing really right in here is going to be our bullseye. And what's happening today is going to be kind of a complicated situation. So looking at our kind of overall storm structure and systems, in the AM, we saw storms right in here. We saw them all the way through Texas. Those have kind of two parts to them. We saw a part that went this way, and we saw a part that went up this way up into Oklahoma. Currently, there is a massive storm system here, and you may think, okay, that's our main wave for today. That's our severe threat. Well, it is not. That is actually going to be over here by the time this even develops. And this right here is our severe threat. So looking at our severe threat, it's going to be a kind of a nocturnal event. We're going to see it anywhere between today at 3 p.m. and all the way through kind of till the early AM hours of tomorrow. So looking overall, we are seeing that there's two motion to this storm. You can kind of see it on how this whole slight is. We're seeing where the slight's at, and we're seeing all the way up through here. And you can see which way the storm motion is going. So it is traveling generally this way. But we do see there is a peak right here. So we see the storm split up into two parts. So we can put a line here. And whenever we see this, what this is showing us is basically we're having three different systems. We're going to have a system here, a system, this is as of this afternoon, we're going to have a system here, we're seeing a system here, and even a system here. So we see one here, and one here. The only ones to look at, really, and pay attention to are going to be this one and this one. And that is because as these travel, this one over here is going to be making its way off into the kind of northeast and up into Carolinas. But these two that were here and here, what's happening is they are traveling into an area where this storm left some of its energy. And they are being fed by this right here. There is really warm temps right through here. And what's happening is this is kind of being fed in every direction within this kind of tunnel here, right into this bubble. And you can kind of notice what matches that bubble is this part of the moderate and enhanced threat. We have the moderate here and the enhanced here. And what's happening is all of this is combining right from here in western Mississippi all the way into central Alabama. And then throughout the day, we're seeing the storms travel. So what's going to occur is we're going to see these storms developing throughout the day. We see this first wave making its way through, and then we're going to see a second wave develop. And so that brings us to our HRRR, and we'll go ahead and go look at that and see what all that is saying. And so we're going to check out through the whole day what to expect. So we see kind of throughout the day, we see these storms. So this is in the morning hours here. We see that there is just kind of a mess. They kind of ignore what's happening up here, but the big thing is what's happening here and here. So we're seeing really that separation point is here. We're seeing this system make its way off this way, all of this, and then we are seeing really kind of a view from over here of what this system's looking like. Now this system is traveling this direction, so a little bit further to the east than this northeast track. And what's going to happen is we're going to see all of this here. So whenever we kind of finally see how this is all going to shape up, we're going to see that this is going to split up, as I said. So we're going to go through, and this is noon, and these times are all on Eastern Standard Time. So we see a big strengthening right along here. We see really this cell system break off. We see that traveling, and that is just, we're going to forget about that. So as we go through, we're going to see this storm kind of take over. We do see a line of thunderstorms right through here, and that is from kind of that leftover energy that was out over this area. And we're going to see that travel. Now you do note right in here, we do see a supercell or two on the back side of this system. So whenever we're going through this, we're going to pay attention to where the severity is. We're going to mark it in this color of red. So our most severe at this time is going to be at noon anywhere between this East Texas area up into Arkansas. We're going to see that this line that develops right here is going to be the most severe. And then we're going to travel to kind of that 2 p.m. time. So here is 2 p.m., and we see that there is a big thunderstorm developing. So let's check out the photograph here once it loads, and this is going to show us basically what's going on at that time. And so there is a marginal tornado right there. We see that there is just kind of a craziness going off. We see some really heavy wind gusts. And we do see that right in here, this storm motion, we see that's called our storm slinky right there. And our storm slinky, basically, we want it on a good day. So a day that there is nice, calm weather. We want this going right there, or even like that. We could have it, going straight up too. We could have it any of those three directions. Now, when it curves, so that's the direction the whole entire storm is moving right there. Now, when it curves, however, that is showing rotation. And the more like a kidney bean shape or a C that we find it, the more rotation we're going to see in there. And also, the more like a G it looks, that is the higher chance of a kind of a tornado in there. We're going to see ones that will kind of wrap around like this. Those are ones that are going to be the ones that have tornadoes in them. So this one, we see obvious rotation. So we do have that threat as of that 2 p.m. time of storms developing. As we see through here, there's definitely a tornadic chance. It's above the non-tornadic chance, so we could see an EF0 and EF1, maybe even a low-end EF2, and at the highest, a low-end EF3. So that's showing all that. We do see the storm motion, and it is traveling to the northeast up through there and speeding up. So we're going to see what all is going on with that here in a few minutes when we check out what's going on with that SIGTOR and what to expect at the local level. So then we check out our 4 p.m. time, and we see the separation I was talking about. So we see two systems now, three systems. So I talked about there's a line here and a line here. So I mentioned that there is a storm here, and a storm here, and they're moving off. So this one is moving that direction, this one is moving that direction, and this one oddly is moving that direction too. So we do see a wind direction change throughout the day, but our big problems are three kind of areas. We can see a lot of excessive rainfall in here. We have supercells and lines of squall lines. We see multiple of them. And then we see the squall line supercells over Oklahoma. All of that is traveling this way and this way. So what's going to eventually happen is this is all going to keep moving. So we're going to check out our 6 o'clock time now. And we see this start to break up. So you may think, oh great, it's breaking up. Nope, problem is there's a supercell here. Supercell here, and they go all the way down the line. So when we end up seeing this, what we're watching is we're seeing all these little supercells producing along this line. We see some back here and some up here too. All of this is moving, and we have all of this rotating. And so that is our huge problem, and that is going to be our big problem. So I want to look at our 6 p.m. time in the southeast USA, kind of a look at it to see what they are expecting through this time. And we're going to quantify this. So as we see a supercell here, 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 here. I'll just keep highlighting them as we go along. Each one of these is a individual supercell that is going to be producing. So just at this one scan at 6 p.m., we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 possible supercells that we could find. And we see these long-tracked cells too. We see a line here and here. And you could tell that they're going to be long-tracked because of that streak behind them. And so as we go through, we're going to see as we go on. So we're just going to focus on this view now because this is going to be our moderate threat, what's happening in here. 8 p.m., we see this supercell line, basically. We do see a streak of supercells. So this is going to be a long-track supercell. We see supercells through here that are long-tracked. So as I said, this is our 8 p.m. And then we skip ahead to our 10 p.m., then our midnight, and then we check out our 2 a.m. And as you see in these scans, we have lines like this forming. And so what this suggests on the HRRR model is that there's going to be a supercell that is long tracked. And that can, if we see a hint of rotation on the HRRR model, which we're not going to get into that today, we could focus on that some other time. If we do see that, that's going to be our indicator of a tornado somewhere in that area. So we could easily expect that there are going to be some big time storms with this. So looking back at our kind of that early evening time, we can see that there is a lot right through here. So I want to focus on kind of our core. Let's just focus on this supercell right here of what's going on. So we're going to check out what the HRRR hodograph shows for this, because this is going to be one of the cells that could be a big time player. And so we do see that rotation that I talked about that happens through here, where we see it start to curl back on itself, that C shape. And that is kind of into that almost of a G. It's like an upside down G or a 6, or even a 9 you could find sometimes. And so we do see the temperatures, they are very close together. And when you see that crossing over right here, that generally indicates some big severity. So we see that they are very tightly packed the whole way. Now, let's focus on what is happening down here. So we do see this line that is running right across here, and that is showing us where our significant effective layer is going to be at with SYN. So we do see we are out of the non-tornadic, so it is not going to be a non-tornadic system. We will see tornadoes in this. If there's going to be a tornado along this line, now note this is not that exact location, but this is the atmosphere around that, so we can just include about 100 miles of that location. We are almost out of the EF0, so we're going to go ahead and knock out the probability of there only being an EF0. We could probably knock out an EF1. We have a chance of an EF2, an EF3, and even a low-end EF4+. So that is, in this environment, we are seeing very dangerous long-track tornadoes that can occur. And so that is then stated by the National Weather Service. They agree with that, and they are saying that there is definitely that tornado risk, and there will be long-track tornadoes. And that's going to be a big key. So that's something we have to look at the whole day today, is what's going to be focusing on that. And so stay tuned, because this is going to be something that is very important. And as we look at the SIGTOR real quick, we're going to look at this just to conclude the episode of what is happening at this time. We do see all of it here, and let's go up to our highest reading that we can find here. Let's just do the 6.7. And this 6.7 is showing a particularly dangerous situation tornado. And we are seeing this shape, that C, and that is something we don't want to see. And so that is something that is going to be a big, severe threat. And what do you know? We are seeing possibilities of these upper end, most likely somewhere in here is our potential. So we could see, especially whenever we see this, that's when we know it's going to be a very active system. So that about does it for our kind of briefing on what could happen. That's what to expect if you live anywhere around here. You can tell really our big areas of focus as of kind of that early evening time. We could focus anywhere right in here. And note our moderate was right through here. So our bullseye originally was going to be anywhere in here. This was our bullseye, because we had storms going to the south and the north. So our bullseye was right in here, and you could see with this. So throughout the day, expect all of that to be occurring, and just stay tuned for that, because it's going to be very important information that you're going to need. Well, stay safe and have a happy rest of your Easter.